Hi everybody, Lisa here from Spirit Connections. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about something that has been on my mind for the last week or so. The energy has been really intense and really heavy between the last full moon that we had was very, very intense. And since then, it seems like the energy has just been building and building and building and building up to the Mercury retrograde that is happening tomorrow, the new moon that is happening the next day, and the eclipse that is also happening on the 1st. I cannot remember if it's a solar or lunar eclipse, but I do know that there is one coming. So all of these things can really affect those of us who are sensitive to the energy. And for me, that has been a really, really big thing lately. It just seems that the more I do this, the more sensitive I become. And it can really interfere with your life sometimes. And I just wanted to offer some tips on how to kind of help take care of yourself during those times. The first thing I want to say is take the time for you, because so many times we get caught up in work and then running errands and social lives and feeling like we have to follow through with obligations for everyone. And we don't. We absolutely do not have to. We are not obligated to have a social life. If you get home from work on Friday night and you decide that you want to shut your phone off, shut your TV off, shut out the world for the weekend, you are more than entitled to do that. And sometimes you do need to do that. I know, working in my day job, now I am changing day jobs here shortly, but, and I know you're thinking, oh my God, she's going to another job. I am a person who is not satisfied with the mainstream concept of working. So I tend to work somewhere till I feel that I'm, over it and I move on to something else. I like to be challenged. I like to change things up all the time. So that's why I'm always looking for new adventures, so to speak. As a light worker, as someone who wants to challenge societal norms, that is why I do what I do. And this past weekend was incredibly difficult on me. I'm working for a major fast food chain right now. I will not name it because I'm sure most of you can probably figure out which one it is. There aren't that many. And it's just, when you spend all day with people in your face, you get home from work and you don't want them there anymore, because as much as I love people and as much as I love to help them and as much as I love to see them succeed and be on their path and do the things that they're meant to do, it's also very draining for me to have people in my face constantly, because I pick up a lot on what they're doing, on what they're feeling, on what they're doing in their lives, and there's only so much that I can do to release that, and it can take a couple of days sometimes to release it all. There's so much there. So some of the things that I find really, really help me. So for those of you who are mediums, empaths, light workers, any of those labels that you identify with, crystal children, indigo children, all those people who, have come here to kind of pave the way. I know that I believe that is part of my life purpose here too, is to pave the way for those who are coming later to really change our world into the beautiful, wonderful place it's meant to be. And some of the things that I do to kind of keep myself in check, so to speak, sleep. Sleep is my number one way of recharging. And sometimes it can be very difficult because as much as I love my partner, he sometimes doesn't understand or respect my need for sleep. And that can be, a bit of a problem at times. Most of the time he does try. So I can't really, fault him too much. But for someone who doesn't need the sleep like I do, it can be a bit of a sore point in our relationship at times. So if you find that in your relationships, talk to them, tell them why you need the sleep. Because if you don't understand why you need it, how can you explain to someone else? So once you've discovered and decided what it is that you need to do, then you can explain it better to your partner. And the other thing that I do is meditate very regularly. I wish I could do it every day, but sometimes it just doesn't come naturally. And so don't ever try to force it if you find yourself in that position, because whenever you try to force something, it doesn't happen. And then you start feeling bad about yourself, and you start feeling bad about everything around you. So forcing things doesn't work. Also, eat well. I know I do. I feel like such a hypocrite based on where I work right now, which is why when the opportunity to do something else that was much more wholesome and much more a community based. I'm going to be working for a local business that's been here for a long time, that's expanding. So I'm really excited to be part of that expansion with them, and to just be able to help them grow as a company. I'm very excited about this. They're going to be serving some fantastic food, fresh food, real food that we should be eating. And so I feel like a hypocrite when I go to my current day job and hand people this junk every day. It really goes against the grain of what I believe in and the changes that I'm trying to make for myself. Myself personally, I've cut out dairy. I've cut out a lot of processed foods. I'm trying to cut down on carbs because that does help with my symptoms of some gynecological issues that I have. I also am trying to really cut out meat. And I know a lot of people, say, oh, vegans, they're all up on their soapboxes and all this stuff. You know what? It's not about being vegan for me. It's not about saving the planet. For me, it's about making the healthiest choices for my body. So, sometimes that might mean I might eat some cheese. Sometimes that might mean I might eat an egg. Sometimes that might mean I eat a little bit of meat. But the amount of meat that we consume as a society, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for the animals. It's not sustainable for our economies. It's not sustainable for a lot of things. And honestly, if you are going to eat meat, try and find sources, that aren't commercial, that aren't, they've raised 10,000 head of cattle, slaughtered them all in this horrible way, and just processed them in a factory. There's no heart, there's no soul, there's no respect for the sacrifice that animal made for you. And so I believe, that goes back to my ancestral roots. I do have a native in my background. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what tribe my grandfather came from. He passed away when I was very, very young, and my mother was adopted, so I don't know a lot about my family history that way, but I do know enough to know that my roots are important to me, and the traditions and teachings of natives here in Canada are important to me, and that thanking thanking the animals for what they give us is very, very, very important. Thanking the spirits around us that help us to learn and grow, it's very important. And gratitude is a really big thing too, I find, in keeping me focused on this journey. The more grateful you are for what you have, the more you're going to get, believe it or not. So if you find yourself, just really down in the dumps, really not understanding why you feel the way you feel, check your energy. Check it before you wreck it. Check your energy. Do some energy clearing meditation. See an energy healer. Take classes in energy work. There are so many things that we can do. I think if everyone on this planet really learned how to control their own energy and how to keep it clear, we would probably be a much happier, much healthier, much more productive society. We wouldn't see the conflicts that we see so much. And I really feel like, this is the time of change. We have so many opportunities here to teach others to be the best person that they can be. So really just work on yourself, because as you work on yourself, becoming the best person that you can be, then you inspire the person next to you to do the same. who inspires the person next to them to do the same. And the more people we inspire to work on themselves and be better and get to know themselves and get to know their energy and get to know themselves emotionally and physically and all of those things, the better we will be as a society. So I hope my little tips helped you. Make sure you're getting lots of sleep. Make sure you're getting your 5 fruits and vegetables a day. You know, don't reach for the soda, reach for the water. Take a walk with your dog. If you don't have a dog, find a friend. It's so simple to take care of ourselves, and yet we neglect ourselves so much because society tells us if we're not tired, if we're not stressed, if we're not angry, if we don't work our asses off, that we're not good enough. Well, you know what? In my opinion, we're not good enough if we don't look after ourselves. I just thought I'd throw that out there, give you a share today. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. I appreciate everyone who does listen and takes to heart what I say, because I really feel that the information that I get from Spirit really needs to be shared. And so I hope that you can take something away from today's video. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.